game just to get my fatty. And these lazy ain't got competition. It's me versus me, love Key Talk game.
Key Talk Society, check it out. Before the video gets started, I need y'all to like the video. You know what I'm talking about? You know I'm gonna come with the content every day, all day. You know what I'm talking about? They like the video for me, take 2 seconds. Anyways, check it out, man. All right. So reports is now coming out, you know what I'm talking about? Of course, I've been doing reporting on Miss Fani Willis, you know what I'm talking about? Fani with the Fani back there. I've been doing reporting on her. And, you know, as of late, you know, it seems like, of course, she was doing a Rico on Donald Trump. She's the reason for the Rico that got done on YSL, Young Thug, and some other gangs inside of Atlanta. She kind of initiated it all and started to target them. Now, Donald Trump's team actually came out and said that Fani Willis was actually dating, you know, talking about the special prosecutor that she had to go and pretty much arrest his people, right? She denied that there was any type of wrongdoing, any type of bad relationship. She never denied it. Actually, she didn't deny it. She just kind of ignored it and blew it off, right? Even when she went to go speak at a church near Martin Luther King's birthday, she still kind of just blew it off. Didn't show it no attention, which was kind of a red flag because it's like, okay, if you're not dating the guy that you got to go get Trump, why not just say you're not dating him, right? And then, of course, inside of the Young Thug case, they said that she initially planned on doing the Rico on Young Thug now was because they allegedly unalived a guy named Big Nut. A lot of people from Atlanta and outside of Atlanta know the Big Nut guy, and they pretty much said that's the reason why she even went after Young Thug now, because she was having an intimate relationship with Big Nut, and they killed Big Nut, right? You already know. Well, a judge subpoenaed her, and she had to testify and honestly tell the truth whether she had a relationship with a guy named Nathan, who she hired to be the special prosecutor inside of the Rico for Donald Trump's team. And she's now came out and pretty much said, okay, she's had a relationship with him. Now, she said the relationship began after she hired Buddy, which either way it goes is still definitely not going to be a good look for her, because in the past, he flew her out multiple times. We went over that. He got trips for her and stuff like that. Now, y'all may ask, okay, well, if she admitted that, where does this leave the Young Thug case and also the Donald Trump case? We'll get into that right after I pretty much read the report, right? So it says, prosecutor in Trump Georgia case admits relationship with colleague, but the prosecutor, Fani Willis, said her relationship with Nathan Wade did not begin until after she hired him, and argued that it should not disqualify her. It probably will disqualify her, right? It comes out and it says, Fani Willis, the district attorney prosecuting a Georgia election interference case against former President Donald Trump, acknowledged on Friday a personal relationship with the prosecutor she hired to manage the case, but argued that it was not a reason to disqualify her or her office from it. So she don't want to be taken off that case with Donald Trump and his team, but they want her off the case and they want Buddy off the case, right? It says the admission came almost a month after allegations of an improper clandestine personal relationship between the two surfaced in a motion from one of Mr. Trump's co-defendants. The motion seeks to disqualify both prosecutor and Ms. Willis' entire office from handling the case. An effort that, if successful, would likely sow chaos for an unprecedented racketeering prosecution of a former president. And then it's in quotes, it says, while the allegations raised in the various motions are salacious and garnered the media's attention, they were designed to obtain none provide this court with any basis upon which to order the relief they seek, Ms. Willis filing said, adding that her relationship with the prosecutor, Nathan J. Wade, has never involved direct or indirect financial benefit to Ms. Willis, because there was a time earlier, well, I said a time like it wasn't a couple of days ago, where they were saying that a certain amount of money was being paid to someone, I believe to the Nathan guy, and they were saying that somehow, some way that's connected to Fani Willis as well. And that's why she pretty much said there's no direct or indirect financial benefit, but now it says to Willis, right? Let's continue. It says the filing include an affidavit from Mr. Wade's asserting that the relationship started only after Mr. Wade had been hired. The original motion containing the accusation filed by Michael Ramone, a former Trump campaign official, alleged that Ms. Willis had hired her boyfriend as a special prosecutor, granting him lucrative contracts even though he was underqualified, and then benefited by going on vacations that Mr. Wade paid for. Okay, so Trump's co-defendant that she got wrapped up in the RICO as well. Okay, so Fani Willis is saying that she didn't start dating Buddy until after they pretty much she hired him on, right? But Buddy's saying no. They've been dating way before that. And the wild part about it is, how would he have that information that they were dating before how would he have that information? How would he know that about the past and know that about the flying out and of course the other benefits that Buddy have received? So it's kind of like he's saying Fani Willis hired him, got more money in his pockets, and in return, Buddy flew Fani Willis out and took her to other places pretty much on trips around the world, right? It says, but Ms. Willis said in her filing that financial responsibility for personal travel taken is divided roughly even. Mr. Wade echoed that language in his affidavit, adding that Ms. Willis received no funds or personal financial gain from my position as a special prosecutor. Mr. Ramone's motion also alleged that the relationship began before Mr. Wade started working for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office in November 2021, but Mr. Wade in his affidavit stated that while he had been friends with Ms. Willis since 2019, it was only in 2022 that he developed a personal relationship with her. Boom. Okay, so now you got Miss Fani Willis saying one thing, because I believe she just hired Buddy on either 2023 because 2024 just started. So, and she's saying that that personal, that relationship, talking about knocking her down, probably didn't actually start until she hired him on 2023. But Nathan, which is the special prosecutor she hired on, is claiming that they didn't actually start having that personal relationship until 2022. But you have the lawyer of the guy that she's prosecuting said, no, it had to have at least started in like between 2019 and 2021, right? Of course, all that'll come out. The allegations and Miss Willis' silence about them until now have thrown the high-stake prosecution off balance, giving Mr. Trump a new line of attack and raising the prospect of delays or more serious impacts on the case. Ms. Willis has sought to have the trial start in August, but no date has been sent yet. Of course, it ain't gonna get started right now. And then I even told y'all in the past, okay, the fact that she's not just coming out saying that I ain't do it, what I'm talking about, that's not me, that's just cat, that's a lie, was already a big red flag. And yeah, it was a red flag. I was on the money on that, right? But then it says the allegations do not change the underlying fact that the case, which accused Mr. Trump and his allies of engaging in a plot to subvert Georgia 2020 presidential election results, 4 of the 19 original defendants have pleaded guilty, including some of Mr. Trump's most zealous defenders. One of them, Jenna Ellis, said tearfully during a hearing late last year that she looked back on what she did with deep remorse. Mr. Ramone's motion last week provided no evidence of a romantic relationship, but several weeks after it was filed, Mr. Wade's estranged wife produced credit card statements showing that he bought plane tickets for himself and Ms. Willis after he began working in her office. The records show flights to San Francisco from Atlanta purchased on April 25th, 2023, and to Miami from Atlanta purchased on October 4th to 2022. So he was already flying her out to different places in 2022, which is around the time that he said they grew their personal relationship, while Fani Willis said they grew their personal relationship in 2023, right? Well, their personal, I ain't gonna say the word intimate, but you know what it is. I already told y'all, Miss Fani Willis is a baddie, you know what I'm talking about? We ain't gonna hold off on that. But anyway, it says, But Miss Willis also purchased plane tickets for herself and Mr. Wade. Oh, okay. Oh, so he wasn't just flying her out. She was, talking about playing her role too. According to the filing on Friday, which included copies of her email traffic with Delta showing travel arrangements to and from Miami, Melissa Redmond, a law professor at the University of Georgia and a former Fulton County prosecutor, said that same of the assertion in the filing could make it difficult for Mr. Ramon's motion to succeed. If they are splitting costs, Professor Redmond said, referring to personal travel expenses for Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade, it would be difficult to say she personally benefited. She added, so the fact that they both have bought plane tickets should make it more difficult for them to say that she's personally benefiting, which if she's personally benefiting, that makes it easier for her to get kicked off the case, right? She added that the crux of the defendant's strongest argument that she should be disqualified because of her personal gain from the relationship. In a 2022 interview with the New York Times, Ms. Willis said Mr. Wade had not been her first choice for the job, but she described him as a longtime mentor and friend who she hired because she could trust him. Mr. Ramon's motion states that the relationship amounts to a conflict of interest that should be grounds for disqualification and calls for the case against Mr. Ramon to be dismissed. Mr. Trump joined the motion last week. He also argued in a separate filing that Ms. Willis violated state bar rules when she claimed in a speech last month that racism was behind the effort to disqualify her and Mr. Wade. Both prosecutors are black, while most of the defendants are white. Ms. Willis scoffed at the conflict of interest claim, writing that the idea of her having a financial stake in the case was based on fantastical theories and rank speculation. Georgia law requires far more. The existence of a relationship between members of a prosecution team and all of it is simply not a status that entitles a criminal defendant any remedy, she added. These matters will be considered by the presiding judge in the case, Scott McAfee of Fulton County Superior Court. He has set a hearing for February 15th. Mr. Ramon's lawyer, Ashley Merchant, has sent subpoenas demanding that Mr. Wade, Ms. Willis, and a number of other witnesses testify at the hearing. It is unclear whether the judge will allow her to put them on the stand. Within the election interference investigation, there's already precedent for disqualifying the district attorney's office. In July 2022, a judge disqualified Ms. Willis and her office from developing a criminal case against Burt Jones, now Georgia's lieutenant governor, because Ms. Willis had headlined a fundraiser for one of his political opponents. So, they making it look like Ms. Fani Willis is doing a whole lot of corrupt type of things, making a lot of corrupt moves because now they're saying that she actually tried to go against another high-powered person, but the high-powered person she tried to go against then, they didn't let her prosecute him because she was actually a friend and actually did events, with his ops, with his opponents. So yeah, it's a conflict of interest, definitely, right? But in her filings on Friday, Ms. Willis wrote that the scheduled hearing was unnecessary and would be equivalent of a ticket to the circus. The supposition and innuendo, that's a big one right there. About her personal life, she wrote, was distasteful. Mr. Wade has earned more than $650,000 for his work for the DA's office, prompting Mr. Ramon in his filing to repeatedly refer to lucrative contracts, but Ms. Willis defended Mr. Wade's pay, his $250 per hour rate. Yeah, y'all getting $250 an hour? Because he is. Not just playing. She said it was not out of the norm for prosecuting agents in Georgia. And though Mr. Wade has earned more than other special prosecutors on the case, she noted, the others had much more circumscribed roles. Special prosecutor Wade made much more money than the other special prosecutors only because Wade did much more work, Ms. Willis wrote. But if nothing else, the optics have not been good for Ms. Willis' team. During her campaign for district attorney in 2020, Ms. Willis ran against an incumbent facing allegations of harassment. During one campaign appearance, Ms. Willis said, "I certainly will not be choosing people to date that worked under me. Let me just say that her opponent, Paul Howard, was found not guilty of the harassment allegations. So she pretty much went against somebody else and said she'd never date somebody up under her, pretty much in her office, right? Ooh, dang. So in a fresh broadside against Miss Willis, the House Judiciary Committee, led by Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, a staunch Trump ally, subpoenaed her office on Friday over its use of federal funds. Mr. Trump himself has seized on the allegations. In a social media post on Friday, he said that Miss Willis was able to get her lover a significant amount of money by hiring him for the case based on the fact that the target was Mr. Trump. That means that this scam is totally discredited and over, he added. So Trump said that. In Georgia, where Republicans hold a firm grip on the state government, several investigations are on deck and will probably explore where the ethical and criminal violations were committed. The biggest risk for Ms. Willis and the case itself could come from a new commission created by Republican state lawmakers to oversee district attorneys. The commission is expected to review her conduct when it is up and running later this year. But this appointment has also been peppered among some critics of Mr. Trump, who are hoping he will face consequences for his attempts to stay in power after losing in the 2020 election. Late last year, the digital publication The Root named Ms. Willis number one on its list of 100 most influential Black Americans and featured her at a ceremony at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. It says, so then after the allegations emerged last month, The Root published an article criticizing Ms. Willis for poor judgment, even as it said that Black people in high-profile positions were held to harsher standards than their white counterparts. We all love Willis here at The Root, which is why she got the top spot at last month's The Root 100 ceremony. The article said, but she absolutely should have known better than to put herself in this position. In a statement on Friday, Stephen H. Sado, Mr. Trump's lead lawyer in Georgia, said that Ms. Willis' response failed to provide full transparency and necessarily financial details related to the relationship. Mr. Sado also asserted that the speech Ms. Willis gave in Atlanta on January 14th, in which she suggested her critics were playing the race card, was in violation of her ethical responsibilities as a prosecutor. So the very fact that Miss Willis has actually came out and said, hey, man, they are going after me because of my race. They're going after Mr. Nathan because of his race. But now it's turning out that she actually was, having relationships with him. That's going to discredit the whole it's about race thing, right? It's going to give a lot of discredit. This pretty much discredits what she's saying, right? Even if it was partially true, it still discredits it because it is, right? It says Ms. Willis following included examples of some of the racist invective aimed at her since she began investigating Mr. Trump, including unprintable slurs and epithets, sentiments like slavery forever, and depictions of Ms. Willis' face next to a noose. Okay, yeah, that's definitely, that's definitely racist. One may question whether the intent is to disqualify the prosecutor who has taken on all the abuse to pursue justice in this case at great personal cost, she wrote, only to be substituted with someone less committed to do so. Now they didn't say who did the little images of the news and all this stuff like that. But she's standing on what she's saying, right? So Fani Willis is standing on what she said. Trump and his co-defendants are standing on what they're saying. She's saying, hey, listen, no matter what y'all do, no matter what, it still doesn't prove that he didn't try to overturn the election that he lost. And they're saying, hold up. This lady's just trying to come after me because, for one, she has a personal vendetta against me, and she's trying to get the guy that she hired to come after me more money. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to y'all to decide what y'all feel about it. Anyways, let me know something. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about this entire ordeal. I'm out.